Alright, so we'll be talking about weld color tonight, what causes it, things to look out for, how to fix it. You know, ideally, for your general application, a nice, you know, shiny silver or gold is what you're after. When you get into the darker colors or the, you know, flat grays, that means you're overheating the material. So there's quite a few factors that go into it. Your gas coverage is part of it, and your speed and your heat is another part of it. But essentially what that color is as you're welding, you know, the composition of the material is getting mixed up. And on stainless, I think it's chromium that moves to the top of the weld. So as you're moving along, if your gas coverage loses where that puddle is cooling down, and your gas coverage is lost on it, that's where you're going to start getting the oxidation in the color. So as you can see here, that was where my gas flow stopped. So before that puddle was cooled down enough, oxidation got to it, or oxygen, you know, kind of contaminated it. So we'll go over some different stuff. I've got a torch on there like you guys are using. I did this weld with it. I mean, it turned out pretty good. But we'll also use, so that's what you guys are using. I also brought some gas lenses so you can see the difference on the welds. And these are the cups that get used for those. And I also brought some of the big white ceramic ones, which vary in size. I think the biggest they go to is like 1 1/16 opening. So in comparison to what you guys are using, that's a lot of extra gas coverage. Kind of gives you a little more room for error. And they also have some of the Pyrex ones. You know, the only drawback to those is their amperage rating's pretty low, so you can't weld super hot with them. But we'll run a couple beads, see if the camera can pick it up, and I'll try some different stuff as we go along. Another important factor is your torch angle on this too. If you're leaning too far back, you'll lose gas coverage, so you want to make sure you've got it, you know, close to that 10-degree angle that's recommended. There we go. Dang it. I'll do a couple different welds with my torch angle off so you guys can see kind of what it looks like when it is wrong. So I'll tilt it back pretty far. I'll do one a little more straight on. Freaking GoPro's killing me. And then we'll run one a little too hot and see if I can get it to kind of gray up. So first one I was pretty far leaned back. I was probably about 25-30 degrees. This one was a lot more straight on, so it's probably 10 degrees leaned back, maybe 5. And you can kind of see the difference, you know, where the weld is shiny. I had a little more gas coverage while that puddle was cooling versus the one that was leaned back. There's really only the last couple freeze marks that are somewhat silver. So you want to make sure your torch angle is, you know, within that 10-degree range to keep your weld covered. And then the weld down there, I ran a little hot, and it's a little more dull. I mean, it's still a decent weld, but had to move a little faster on that one. So I'll throw on one of the gas lenses here. You guys can see a difference. So they go on the same way as the other collets. Get it out of there. And I'll use a little bigger cup. So this is a number 8, so that'll be about a 1/4 inch bigger than what we're using. So with these you can stick the tungsten out pretty far just from the gas coverage from that shower head in there. So you get a little more visibility when you're welding. And we'll see what kind of difference comes up with. throughout the night, you might try playing with your gas, you know, turning it up, turning it down, just to kind of see what difference it makes. If you get it turned up too high, sometimes it'll kind of make your puddle turbulent. So you want to be careful, but run one a little hotter. Camera kind of fell on that one. I'll do another one. These were the first cups, and this was the gas lens. As you can see in the first weld, I mean, there's barely any color other than silver and gold. So those bigger cups do a lot better job of keeping that puddle shielded while it's cooling down. You know, in comparison to the color I was getting down here. When I went to go a little hotter, it kind of got a little bit of the color back, but I was kind of intentionally trying